I guess EDP445 is back on YouTube without getting terminated immediately, I guess. So, we're back for more reactions. We gotta start off with he actually came back. And it is credited by Dinkley. This dude has 42,000 subscribers. And yeah, we are for a treat, are we? On the first video in this stream. Yep. So, let's get it over with. So, yeah.
No way this dude is back and he's helping out the children. Somebody bake him a cupcake.
You know, I feel proud of myself today, you feel me?
No, I don't feel you. I don't want to feel you. He's like William Afton. He keeps coming back. EDP445, a name I haven't heard of for a while. This dude is notoriously famous, but for the wrong reasons. And he made another video discussing his comeback on YouTube. Well, that career was short-lived since his YouTube channel was directly taken down in a moment's notice. EDP445 back on YouTube with good and wholesome words for the youth. Oh no. If you want to be protected from diddlers like him, subscribe to the channel. Bosnia will protect you. But anywho, let's start watching the clip.
They're mags, not clips.
You know, I feel proud of myself today, you feel me?
He hit his PR of making cupcakes. Good job, buddy.
I'm here at Taco Bell, and you know, the guy, he always asks, would you like to round up your change to help out with student education? And I'm like, sure, why not? Thank you, you're so awesome. Thank you for helping the kids. I'm like, well, shit, man. I mean, hey, as long as I can do my part to help out the little chillings, help out the little fucking punk-ass nigglets, you feel me? I'm more than happy to help, motherfucker, you feel me?
You can't be this loose. You got exposed for meeting up with a minor. Allegedly, right? And now you're talking about helping the kids. That is your first comeback video on YouTube. You trying to help the kids.
Yeah, that ain't gonna help
You're always
EDP,
such a sweet little helper, weren't you, buddy? Always giving them extra change, extra cupcakes. Yeah. Good job, Mr. EDP.
As long as I can do my part to help out the little chillings.
There was so much emphasis behind that word, chillings.
Little chillings.
By the way, breaking news! EDP sighted at Home Depot? You know, EDP had to move apartments and was fired from his job once they knew about his history. Now he has a new job? Well, there's no confirmation if this is really EDP, but people are still looking for him because of his well-being, of course. He's 35 years old and he's only 600 pounds. Bro, such a young and fit soul. Hopefully nothing bad has happened to him.
Oh.
400,000 views and over 2K likes.
Oh, God.
Should we give this guy a break? No? Leave him alone. It's been 5 years and you guys keep bullying him to the verge. I'm shocked he hasn't committed suicide. Okay, EDP. Stop this act. We know it's you. I shit myself in bed.
I just fucking shit on myself in bed while I was laying down.
I don't know.
Are we watching an old...
Oh no. Oh, hold on. I don't know who Lamar Jackson Jackson's edit Caden, but I'll look over him like sooner because I have a lot of degenerates and diddlers to cover with.
Nigga got avocado video? What are we doing here?
I thought it was like actual fart that was going to come out of my asshole, but unfortunately it was some straight up liquid fucking shit.
Honestly, I don't know why X is giving you a platform. Since you're getting banned in like 11 minutes on YouTube every time you try to make a new account. This hasn't been the first time he returned, by the way. And now he's trying to promote his cameo. Alright, boys and girls, if this video gets like 5,000 likes, I'm going to buy a cameo from him. And look, it's 20% off. It's only 30. Bro, I don't want to give him any money. Please don't make me do it. Old school AR-15. Ooh, that number is a little too high for you there, matey. But no, it's very difficult to pick any clips from EDP without getting absolutely demonetized and age restricted. It's crazy how you have gained so much attention. People used to call you a YouTube legend. Now they call you an inmate.
Alright, y'all, so I'm at home taking a fucking shit.
Real?
Oh. Oh, God. Hold on. I just gotta fix this. There we go.
This again? Alright, let me do an impression of it. Oh my god, I was back home thinking dumb shit. I was like whacking it, and then you make Jabba the Hutt look like a professional bodybuilder. Each and every video you are crying. You cry over a game. You're a mentally unstable man that tried to meet up with children online multiple times, and once you got caught, you were still doing it again. I have no idea how you aren't arrested yet. I have no idea why you're not in prison right now. Well, I could actually say that because the predator hunters were fucking up the case for the police. They fucked it up. It was their fault on why he isn't in prison. And good thing that they also got banned off YouTube, by the way. Because these people that are like the hunters are rarely better than the ones they're trying to hunt. 4 topics this fat ass only talks about. Number 1 is shitting. Number 2 is having a wank. Hey, Wankly here. Number 3, eating, and 4, sports. Well, the 4th one is kinda ironic. But yeah, that's all of his content in a nutshell. And he gained over 1 million subscribers. People called him a legend. The living legend. Because he was so real. He was telling real stories. Every video of his was a real meme. He was so funny. Well, he ain't funny now. No one is laughing. And I have no idea that you have a review rating of almost 5 stars. 4.93 from 258 people. This dude has gained over $10,000 by doing this. Wishing everybody a happy birthday. But you want to know what stress does to your body? What having health issues does to your body? Yeah, look at this picture. These 2 pictures were only 4 years apart. On the left, he was healthier, he had less weight and wasn't being exposed for all of that crap. And on the right is today's current age EDP. Look at that face. Does that scream healthy to you? No, it doesn't. And no, this isn't the picture of EDP, that's Gideon. Man, you ought to become the thing you swore to destroy. No, I'm kidding.
Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk.
You know, when he got caught, he was kinda acting like he was a well-known celebrity, but he's nothing more than a glorified meme. And I think most people saw him like that. Just a weird, random-ass guy that has a way too big of an ego, that has very weird beliefs, and does questionable stuff. Now, if there's one person that truly deserves their downfall, then it's EDP. And perhaps even Minilad. Those two can be friends. Weirdly enough, Minilad hasn't been banned yet. But sometimes I wonder how shitty is EDP's life right now. He obviously has health issues. From the last video I've made on him, I thought he had kidney failure. Did he get a transplant? What happened? Well, nonetheless, you could see it at his eye. That's the diabetes taking him out. The next step would be his foot. And look, I'm not kidding. Those health issues are serious. Diabetes, you can still die of it. It's a serious health issue. You need to take care of your body. But in EDP's case, I don't care too much, and neither should you.
When I die, I hope I'm in the casket face down, so all you motherfuckers can kiss my black motherfucking ass.
He's blaming everybody but himself. He's truly an S-tier villain, not realizing that he is at fault. But alas, does that seem like a mentally stable person to you? Probably not. What is your opinion on EDP445? Let me know in the comments. Give me some feedback, boys and girls. And as always, see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Oh God! Oh!
What the hell is he moaning for? Probably not having sex with children. Yeah, I'll subscribe to you, Dinkley. Because I know you gotta show us some more shit. Alright, so... off to our boy Fox Akimbo's another video of when FNF influencers get exposed. Now, I know FNAF since I was like 10, 11 years old. And I used to watch a lot of them, including when I was in 7th to 8th grade. And then 10th. Yeah, along with Ninjago and Dragon Ball. So, without any further ado, guys, here we go.
Liar, faker, fraud. That's what some people have been saying about Markiplier after it was recently theorized that he might have cheated on a FNAF video uploaded more than a decade ago. The video that exposes cheating was uploaded by the Bones 5, and it's on track to reach more than 1 million views in its first week of existence. By the time this video goes up, the view count will undeniably be more. I'm going to link the Bones video down in the description in case you want to check it out for a full breakdown. What I'm going to give you is a brief summary of the controversy because I really don't know the intricacies of FNAF game design. Long story short, he realized that because none of the toy animatronics were ever seen during the end of his winning run, and because the clip of his win never included any sound cues from either Balloon Boy or Mangle, the chances of this happening were extremely low. At best case, a 13 in 4,096 chance. At a more realistic case, 1 in 16,384. To make matters even worse, other clips from in the video also had some unrealistic odds, with one clip having a best case scenario probability of 1 in 240 million. With odds that high, you're more likely to flip heads on a coin 27 times in a row, no tails anywhere in the run. In other words, near enough impossible. On top of that, Bones exposed subtle editing incontinuities such as hair strands changing that really did hit home the fact that the footage had been tampered with. Now, when it comes to this controversy, I'll be honest, some people have made little jokes about it, but it's not really that deep. First of all, Bones himself told people that this does not condone harassment. Second of all, this is a piece of—
I mean, some of his fan base did it to fuck with him, but they're not gonna listen to people that they don't condone what they're already doing, like trolls do. Yeah, I used to be stalked at online, but glad not anymore.
Drama from more than a decade ago by this point that doesn't really impact anything. It's not like when Dream faked his speedruns, considering that there's no leaderboard for beating FNAF 2 on a hard difficulty. And thirdly, this is definitely preferential treatment, but when it comes to Markiplier, after everything that he's given YouTube, the creator economy, his fans, charities, after all of that, I'm sorry, but how could I be mad at him for something as petty as this? If it came out that he had committed a serious crime, then of course my opinion would change, but he faked a video 11 years ago. There's levels to this. If this is the biggest skeleton in his closet, this man is a saint. I'm not gonna jump on someone for faking their content 11 years ago if they generally have a track record for being a good, decent human being, which these days seems like quite a rarity for creators. The only critique I'll give are to his glazers that in the past have been known to hate on people for bringing up this claim, because in all likelihood, it does seem as though Mark did cheat. But I'm sorry, if you are genuinely pressed that Markiplier faked a video more than 4,000 days ago, right, you have to touch grass. I don't think it's a huge deal, especially when there are quite literally no stakes involved. But Markiplier is just one example of a FNAF creator that got exposed. Ladies and gentlemen, believe you me, we have much worse still yet to come. Now, in case you're new to the channel, this is not the first time that I've spoken about exposed FNAF creators. I actually did it in a very recent video. But for context, you don't need to see the unofficial part 1 to this video before you see this one. All of the stories in this video will stand alone, even if I might make slight references to the previous episode. That said, I'll leave it linked down in the description in case you want to check it out before or after you watch this. With that said, let's rock on with the creator that we also discussed in part 1. That being Battington.
Battington? Never heard of this person.
If you've seen part 1 of this video, you'll know that in that, I spoke about a content creator called Bassington, who came under hot water a couple of years back for spreading a rumour about the death of Martin Walls, the man behind the Walton Files. But as I was made aware of by you guys in the comments section, that wasn't his only controversy in the past few years. Let's take a look at a gargantuan blunder that this creator made that was 3 years in the making. This story begins back in 2021, when Bassington uploaded a video titled Happy New Friends. This video has since been deleted for reasons that we'll get into in just a moment, but reactions to it that were uploaded at the time are still up, so we can see exactly what this video contained. The main source of controversy came when Bassington decided to include images of children with distorted faces. Now, the intention here was to scare his audience. He included these images alongside some found footage style audio. I'll show 2 of these 3 images as an example, because to the best of my knowledge, neither of these 2 were ever complained about. But a problem arose when he included a picture of Linda Ann O'Keefe. Back in July 1973, Linda Ann O'Keefe, who was 11 at the time, was tragically assaulted and murdered. Bassington had included her image in this video, and people didn't realise at first. But in 2024, a now deleted call-out post on Twitter revealed this information to the world, leading to immense scrutiny come Bassington's way. Bassington would respond to the situation on Twitter, clarifying that he had no idea and that he was going to take the video down. The thing is, I can see a world where this is a genuine mistake. Apparently he just googled children in the 1980s. But this is a big one to make, much bigger than the fake death hoax. As someone pointed out in the replies, moving forward, going to a website called thispersondoesn'texist.com is a good idea because the people on there quite literally don't exist. That said, I don't know for certain if it was around when this video was made. Regardless, given that she was a real child victim of something absolutely atrocious, people upon learning this fact felt it to be extremely disrespectful to her memory. Having looked into a post on r/YouTube drama about the situation, I found this comment by an analog horror mod that read they wanted to express how it isn't just this YouTuber, it's a lot of inexperienced and immature creators making some of the most low-effort shit you've ever watched. It's almost always FNAF inspired or inspired by one of those made-for-kids video games. This is one of many young creators who legitimately believes that there's nothing wrong with showing pictures of missing kids/crime scenes or actual dead corpses in their content as a shock moment. And this comment makes me question just how commonplace this was, or even still is. I do want to mention though that Linda Ann O'Keefe's murder was originally unsolved and went on to become a 46-year-old cold case. But it was eventually solved in 2019 after DNA evidence allowed authorities to get their man. According to reports, it appears as though a family member of his had sent DNA into a heritage site, which came up with a match for some DNA that was found at the crime scene. James Allen Neal died of COVID a year and a half after he was exposed. As for Bassington, he vowed to do more research moving forwards, and while some people were skeptical, this incident does seem to be behind him now. So let's put that story behind us and move on to the third one of the episode. But very quick, before we do, please make sure that if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I make a ton of videos about online controversies and scandals. If this sort of thing entertains you, then please make sure to show your support by liking, subscribing, and getting active down in the comments. If you want to see a part 3 to this series, then let me know who should I cover next. Just make sure not to suggest the next person we're set to discuss. He's one of the most infamous FNAF creators of all time, and one that I've actually spoken about in a previous video. Just like Squimpus in the last video, our next creator was also featured in the Downfallen YouTubers Iceberg. If you've seen it, then you might know that we'll be discussing Mando Pony.
Oh, I recognize this user, yeah.
Now, because I've already told this story before, and because since I made that video there are no new updates, I'm going to play a clip now of what I had to say in the Downfallen YouTubers Iceberg, and I'll get back to you afterwards. So let's play that clip. On the topic of inappropriate actions with minors, next up on the iceberg is Mando Pony, who you might know from their song Survive the Night, a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 song that has more than 40 million views on YouTube and 48 million streams on Spotify. If you don't know him through that though, plenty of his other songs saw success. His channel, which almost exclusively posts his music, has a combined total of 300 million views. He built a thriving career on the internet for almost a decade between 2011.
Oh, just for a sec, guys. I forgot to put in the titles from the last video. Jeez, what the hell is wrong with me? It's gotta be for a minute, chat. Sorry for that. Alright, back to the video.
And 2020, when after making some uncharacteristic tweets, he would disappear from the internet for several months. During that time, it's alleged that treasure troves of evidence would surface onto the internet that pointed towards Mando Pony being a predator. Now, I want to tread very carefully here because there is a shockingly small amount of videos on Mando Pony. His case is either very niche, or potentially he's quite active in getting content surrounding it taken down. At least that's what Osiris said in one of the only videos made on the topic.
The amount of evidence posted and the amount of sources it came from was truly staggering, and to be honest, because of both this and because a lot of said evidence has since been deleted, either through the people who originally posted it deleting their accounts, or through Andy reporting it and getting it taken down, a lot of the original evidence has been very poorly archived. Even with the use of the Wayback Machine, there were a lot of loose ends I simply wasn't able to tie together into a cohesive timeline.
I'm going to use Osiris's video as a resource here, and I'll link it down in the description in case you want to check it out in more detail. But long story short, in one instance, he's said to have been messaging a 17-year-old when he was 31 and married, sending naked photographs to her, and even soliciting naked pictures from her. He allegedly sent several cringy messages within their chats, which spanned 6 months, and these were contained within roughly 100 screenshots.
The cuddle cravings are kicking in so hard. Ha 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 ha.
In another instance, he allegedly DM'd a 15-year-old, groomed them, wanted to meet them in person, sent pictures to them, but perhaps the worst crime of all were, yet again, the cringy ass messages that he sent.
You're so gorgeous, and you're in Ravenclaw, and you're into Overwatch. They said the perfect woman doesn't exist. They lied.
Several other people came out of the woodwork in the fallout of this, making their own allegations, many of which with similar stories. In fact, things were so severe that law enforcement would apparently be contacted, and they would investigate Mando Pony, real name Andy Stein, who came out to deny the allegations, but did admit that he had been too intimate with his fans, and that he had let his family down. Mando Pony will still sometimes post to YouTube these days, but his videos are disliked to high heaven, the comments on them are turned off, and his songs don't get nearly as many views as they once did. Moving on, it's time for a creator that was infamous in the FNAF community, but outsiders might not be aware of. This is the tale of Pinky Pills.
Pinky Pills? What the hell kind of name is that?
The legend of Pinky Pills is a very long one, with many different factors and elements. The events of this tale unfolded over roughly 8 years between 2016 and 2024. To give you a quick rundown, and to quote a Reddit mega thread about her, real name Claudia Schroeder, better known by her online alias Pinky Pills, started off as a popular fan artist in the community who would post their own comics and standalone art pieces across various platforms such as Reddit and DeviantArt. She's also worked alongside the big man himself, Scott Cawthon. To level with you guys, there is a lot to cover here. Pinky's response statement is 3,500 words long, which is more than the word count for this video. And it's 4 times more than the amount of words said in the Pixar movie Wall-E. For that reason, I'm not going to go into a tremendous amount of detail about the situation, but of course I will give you the footnotes and the highlights of what she had to say, especially given that Pinky Pills addressed all of the controversies about her on her own website. So let's kick things off with her DeviantArt controversy. So there have been multiple instances of Pinky Pills getting into online arguments with DeviantArt users over her artwork. The main reason for this being that they felt as though her submissions were too sexualized. Pinky disagreed, and also said that she didn't really see FNAF as a franchise that was marketed towards children, so she felt as though sharing these images was fine. Within her response, she apologized, saying that her European mindset didn't really understand the American mindset that had a problem with it. This alleged misunderstanding of what might be deemed as sexual content has plagued Pinky Pills throughout her career, as you'll soon find out. Moving on, there was then the Moana controversy. She gives some context about the world she grew up in and Germany, as well as European attitudes towards sex, nudity, and consent. Feel free to pause the video right now if you feel like reading. But then she goes on to say that she started making pin-ups of Disney princesses, sometimes for payment. The princesses are mostly teenagers in canon, bear in mind. Now, she didn't think that these images were inherently sexual, but others disagreed. In one instance, she drew an image of Moana lying naked on a sandy beach. Except for the beginning of her buttocks, Moana is covered by her pose in the sand, and thus is censored. This post would see her receive a lot of backlash, and in her words, was the reason that she was banned from DeviantArt. Once more, she puts this down to a difference in culture, as in the USA, where most of her critics are from, 18 is generally the lowest age someone can be sexualized. This would also cause her controversy years later, as the internet never forgets. She didn't try to justify it in her response, but rather share her perspective. Then, to a less serious extent, there was the Daydreaming comic. This comic depicts a young girl in the playgrounds, and she falls off the swing set, grazing her knee. William Afton, the bad guy of FNAF, sees this, imagines her asking him to gut her like a lamb, licks his lips, and then makes a move.
Just give it to me.
Now, some people that saw this believed that it was portraying William Afton as a nonce. In Pinky Pill's response, she denied that this was the intention and said that she wanted to portray the twisted mind of a child killer. It appears as though, at least at a point in time, Pinky Pills did think that Afton was a pedo, but maybe by the time she made the Daydreaming comic, I guess she claims that she no longer thought that. I mean, I could go on for literally hours. There are other controversies that she's been caught up in, such as tracing art or sexualizing Scott Cawthon, the creator of FNAF, but the ones I've mentioned before are more where the anger towards Pinky Pills really does lie. And in the same vein as Pinky Pills, the next creator that we're set to discuss also had a wide array of controversy. Let's discuss the worst FNAF plush tuber of all time, Puggo's Pizzeria.
Puggo? Sounds kind of puggy.
Before we start, I want to clarify that I got a lot of the information for this portion of the video from a content creator known as Chazington. He made a fantastic piece of content about it, which I'll link down in the description in case you want to check it out. Now, when it comes to Puggo's Pizzeria, there isn't one set controversy that defines him. There's like 9 or 10. So I think the easiest way to do this is to go through them one by one. For starters, he's alleged to have scammed people and bullied others online. And in one case, which for the life of me I cannot explain, he created a manipulated image of a Discord user named Masso saying the N-word. Completely chaotic behavior for no reason. Speaking of which, Puggo has also been caught using the N-word himself on his second channel, Puggo's Plush.
Hi man, how y'all doing? I'm ready to get some fish.
We'll talk about this channel at length later, but long story short, he uses it to be edgy, yet openly promotes it on his main channel, meaning that he's undeniably funneling kids into that content, which becomes a huge problem once you see what he actually posts on there. And on the subject of kids, becomes a huge problem once you see what he actually posts on there. And on the
What the
subject
heck
of
is
kids,
going on?
he's also been exposed
I
for
can
taking
barely see
advantage
it.
of them by faking giveaways.
I don't know
Here's a
what
little
Sprite
secret for you
Track
guys.
doing
Probably
this
like
channel.
95% of YouTube giveaways are fake. If a creator ever tells you to like, subscribe, and comment as a way to get into a prize pool, they are lying to you. Creators can't see if someone's liked or shared their content. They can see if someone subscribed to them if their subscriptions are public, and they can see if someone's commented on their work, but they can't DM them through that. YouTube doesn't have a direct messaging system. I mean, maybe if the channel has an email linked or some sort of external social media site such as Instagram or Reddit embedded on their channel page, it's possible, but I think that the far more likely explanation is that Puggo is lying. As Chasington makes note of in his video, Puggo's audience are mainly young kids who don't understand this. He's essentially tricking them to boost his content via engagement. And that's what makes all of this worse. His audience. This man makes FNAF plush videos. The vast majority of his audience are children. So...
Oh god, he got more views than I am. Than my shorts. That's not fair.
why is he saying the N-word on his second channel? You don't see Stampy ripping on trans people on his second channel. Like, there is a time and a place for edgy content, but you, sir, are a children's entertainer by trade. So for you...
Okay, I don't condone using the F-bombs or the N-word or other bad words or stuff that is not for kids on the kids shows if I make these. I would not. This is why YouTube kids have a little problem for that.
It's never and nowhere. And on the topic of edgy race humor, many of the characters featured in these videos are straight up racial stereotypes.
Like we're complete opposites. We're a brother from another mother, if you know what I'm saying.
I didn't know you was like that, my brother.
I can be a little tiny like that.
Ah, man,
Apparently,
you silly
if you
white
say
boy.
so. Oh yes, and you are black as the night sky, I can see.
What? What the hell you just called me, boy?
And he clearly knows that he's been getting backlash for it, because after he uploaded some sort of deranged Christmas special where Mr. Hippo, dressed as the Grinch, literally essays the other plushes, he got called out on it and took it down. And he then announced that he would no longer include sexual content. My friend, how did this video escape the draft folder? He's also been accused of threatening to blackmail people with their addresses, not paying his editors, and copywriting the Grinch essay video. I don't even want to dive too deep into this specific...
Wait, did he just plagiarize Tito Tonner's video? I think he did.
Video. I could spend easily an hour or so dissecting it. I think that it's best kept for another day, but just know that he also faced massive backlash for trying to copyright the
that's not
re-uploads.
Springtrap, that's
And the
Mr.
video
Hippo.
itself, for very obvious reasons, is one of the craziest
this
ones
fat
I've ever seen. What were you thinking? You would think that would be the end of it, right? Well, not even close. Apparently after he took it down, a few people took it upon themselves to re-upload the video to YouTube, and in response, he allegedly gave them copyright strikes. And as Chasington points out in his original video, the irony here is unreal, because Puggo in the past has constantly pretended to care about copyright abuse, but here, he's abusing it himself. He's copywriting videos that contain FNAF characters while simultaneously also allegedly promoting bootleg merch on his own channel. To me, this comes across as him just trying to silence the critics. If all of the allegations against him are in fact true, then surely he is one of the worst FNAF creators of all time. But if you want to learn of creators that I think might be even worse than him, then make sure to check out part 1 of this video.
Yeah, I should, like, you know, react that for later. Wait, did I just already, you know, edit that already? Nope. Alright, so this one's done. Wait, I don't know if I already, you know, react to it or something. I think I did, just in case. Because I accidentally react to the same videos that I did months ago. Nope. It's all good. Alright, so now we're gonna be reacting to as Zero Phoenix experienced the Sonic OC Predator. So it was recommended when I scrolled the videos that I'm interested to watch, and this popped up. And it keeps on, showing me that, like, hey buddy, watch this. Come on, watch it. And I was like, alright. So it's made by like Zip Zap. So let's get on with it. It's 26 minutes long, almost nearly half an hour.
What is it, Shadow? Your face. What is it? Is there something on it? Ah! Hey! Just as I expected. Sorry.
Shadow? Czy wszystko jest dobrze? Wyglądasz, jakbyś miał jakiś problem. Jeśli jest ci smutno, możemy pogadać.
I don't know the creator who made
Zero
this shit.
Phoenix has been accused of sending NSFW artwork to minors.
Y que también esta persona extorsionaba a menores de edad para sacarle provecho, lo cual eso tampoco está muy bien.
It's absolutely evil that she did that to them.
The very idea of sending porn to a minor should have never crossed your fucking mind in the first place.
Oh, sounds like Chronic thing. Am I right? Or critics that forgot to age restrict them. Jesus.
You're watching this? Fuck you. Fuck your art. Fuck your OC Alina. And get the fuck out of the internet, you fucking...
That's a pretty, like, chaotic start.
In my earlier videos, I've always started them out with the definition of a very specific word. Mind Blends was PD, Amazing Dudes was hypocrisy, the list goes on. And the reason why I did that was not to dumb down my audience. That was not the case at all. The reason why I did that was to establish a theme, a common occurrence throughout the video. And in this case, the word was egotism. Thinking only about yourself and considering yourself better and more important than other people. This is at least how Cambridge defines it, but it's defined differently in other places. Merriam-Webster defines it as excessive use of first-person singular personal pronoun. You're free to disagree with me on this, but this definition doesn't exactly work. It's too broad, it's just not specific enough. Egotism is not to be confused with ego. Those are two entirely different words. Ego is defined as the self, I, you, basically how you feel about yourself compared to the world around you. In other words, it's okay to have an ego, but you can't be egotistical. No one will bat an eye if you are confident about something, especially if you are proud of it. But it's an entirely different story if you are boastful about it. The subject of this video is a perfect example of egotism. And more than just that, so much so that they believe that they are beyond criticism. Hell, even beyond humanity. Because of the fame they had, the attention they got, and overall, the atmosphere in which they grew up in. This is the rise, fall, and decay of Zero Phoenix. Zero Phoenix, renamed Neela, was a 22-year-old artist from Brunei. Because that she went by many names throughout her life, we'll only refer to her as Neela from now on to prevent confusion. Neela first appeared as Neela Maria 1 on DeviantArt some point in 2016. The name was later changed to Sonic I'm Blue 19 and then what we now know as Zero Phoenix. She made fan art for the video game series Sonic the Hedgehog, and yes, she was of course deep in the fan base. Before we go any further, we have to understand what kind of art that she made. Like any big fan base, the Sonic fan base is big into ships, pairing up characters into relationships. Of course, these relationships are not real, they were never made official in any Sonic game or medium, but ships nevertheless are extremely popular.
Hey, leave
As
that
you can
fuck
tell
out of
from
this,
his artworks,
please.
she had a
Come
talent,
on.
and it didn't go unnoticed. Since Neela was mostly a ship artist, the fanbase propelled her to instant recognition. On each post, she earned about 250 favorites on average. By online fan artist standards, this was phenomenal. From drawing Shadow and Blaze in hyper-romantic positions to drawing Sonic characters in various outfits, there was no doubt that Neela took the fandom by storm. However, there was one thing that Neela drew the most, that would become the magnum opus of her career.
Seizure warning.
Hey, are you alright?
Yeah, I think you get the point. Alongside her art of official characters, Neela had an OC named Elena. Elena the blonde hedgehog. Yes, that's exactly what she was called. She had to stress the fact that she was blonde. The fandom absolutely loved her, as you can tell. Countless fan art of her was made. Hell, people even made fan dubs of the comics that she was in. Elena's been shipped with a lot of characters, but she's been shipped with Shadow the most, otherwise known as Shadlina. I don't exactly know why, but so many OCs out there are shipped with Shadow. I mean, no shade, I just don't get the appeal, but I digress. Elena has been Neela's pride and joy since the day she started posting her art, and her fans recognize this. She was met with so much love that it started to get to her. Nobody else could compare to the huge success that Neela had in the community. You could say that it even stroked her ego. By the end of 2019, something came around that shook her ego.
It all started when I was in 8th grade, huh? Well, I'll be damned.
This is Moria. Moria the Hedgehog, a then recent OC by a Bahamian Twitter artist named Naeli. Let's call her Alshani from now on. She was actually an adoptable character design that Ashani bought and redesigned. She quickly became well liked and got a new following. However, Neela was having none of that. Now, it's important to note that Neela and Ashani used to be friends before what was about to happen. On 3rd November 2019, it was only a few hours after Ashani told Neela about her birthday plans when she got a new message. Hey, you! Someone give me a link and I saw you stole my Ekina. It's also important to note that since Neela's from Brunei, her English is also ass. I'm gonna try to say this as properly and correctly as I can. Hey, you! Someone gave me a link and I saw you stole my Elena design and the color. It's making me angry. Why did you do that? For obvious reasons, Ashani ignored her responses, but she just kept going. I want you to change the design and the color before I make the journal and tell my followers to report you. Let's just ignore her writing skills and focus on what she's going on about. Neela was angry at Ashani for stealing Elena's design despite the fact that the only similarity was the color of their hair, then proceeded to threaten Ashani, unleashing her fans against her. I made a video years ago addressing the same exact thing, yet this is still apparently an issue. Social media never changes. After Ashani was blocked, she made a post detailing the issue. Oh, now this is interesting. Time to see where this will go. One thing for certain is, Moria is here to stay. This tweet blew up, and in a single day, the community was floored. I had no idea she was like that. There are thousands of FCs out there. There are bound to be similarities. This whole mentality of, oh my god, you copied my Sonic FC, change it or I will report you, is so old and very 2007 DeviantArt. I love their art, but damn, they need to get their ego checked. Do you see what I was talking about before? At this point, the story writes itself. I could just scroll down and read the replies. I don't even need to tell you why this is so fucking stupid. Of course, this is an art community. Art theft is deeply frowned upon. But there is no such thing as stealing a character design. It's an entirely different story if you copy another character's design verbatim and attempt to profit off of it, which actually did happen. On 7th of December 2020, American artist Ghoulish tweeted the following. At about 4 p.m. today, I was notified that Seraph's design was stolen by Totally Tits Art. There goes my monetization. Being sold as an adoptable. Below are screens of when I first posted Seraph's design, and that the stolen design for the adoptable was made today. The similarities between the characters are just very uncanny in this case. It's even worse at the fact that Totally tried to sell this and profit off of somebody else's design. This situation was already dealt with, but I still felt like it was important to mention anyway, so that you could understand the difference. So back to this. As Shani tweets more screenshots about her conversations with Neela after she unblocked her. To sum it all up, Neela tells her that she has no problem with Alshani's character, that her OC was fine and that she could use any colors for her. I mean, if that's the case, why did you threaten to cancel her just a while before? She apologizes, and the reason why she did that was because she had a difficult home life. She had a creepy and abusive cousin who knows everything about her except for her internet life. It was all a misunderstanding. And I don't understand why she's saying all this. What does it have to do with the fucking OC? In reality, she's actually blaming her cousin for all of this. She says it wasn't her who wrote about her character being stolen, but her cousin all along. If that's the case, the guy should get a career in acting. He figured out how to write exactly like Neela. In other words, this excuse is just bullshit. Neela goes on to assume that Ashani was inspired by Elena's design, which is pretty self-centered. It was just a coincidence. She made an entire paragraph about how she makes her art for herself and not for fame. People are so jealous that they just hate and bully her for it. But she won't give up. She says she won't give up like Erika because she isn't weak like him. I don't need to tell you why nobody should even say that. And then she does the classic Twitter move. Blocking her account, blanking her profile picture, and guilt-tripping. All for an OC? Neela was bullied, right? Why do the same exact thing to someone else by attempting to cancel them? I just don't feel bad. After the call-out, Neela continued to harass Alshani and her friends on sock puppets, trying to force out an apology. The accounts in question were My Angel Lover 1 and Super Lloyd, and she did a pretty bad job not blowing her cover. Neela's Angel account tweets to a Korean artist named Sucho. Neela is a good friend of mine, and then she told me suddenly she felt sad. She saw your Twitter and was surprised that you blocked her, and I asked you why. Sucho never even mentioned Neela or that they had her blocked, but it was because that she was following RP accounts with stolen art, which begs the question, why was she following them in the first place? That's kind of weird. Neela's Super Loyal account was used to not just fake screenshots of herself getting harassed, but to harass others. Neela played an act of convincing this so-called bully to realize the error of his ways and leave the internet for good. There are no screenshots of the account harassing other people, but considering that this apology mentions multiple people, it's safe to assume it's true. And then finally, on New Year's Eve of 2019, Neela announces to Alshani a goodbye forever message. Neela could apologize all she wants, but this situation permanently affected her status as an artist. People never saw her the same. Though this isn't the last time we'll see her. Not at all. She'll still be around, very active the next year, acting like none of this ever happened really. In fact, earlier in 2021, new screenshots emerged. Neela was harassing children to change their OC's designs to look different from hers, and if they didn't comply, she sicks her fanbase on them like bloodthirsty dogs. According to an anonymous account, one person was harassed so much that they were forced to leave the community, all because they stated how horrible Neela's attitude was. She says all she wants to do is move on and be left alone, but never fully admitting to the things she did. She really just wants it all under the rug to save her reputation. There are plenty of cases of people accusing each other of stealing Sonic OCs in the past, and by stealing, just having similar color palettes. There's an odd belief that an OC could one day be featured in official Sonic media, whether it be a video game, a comic, or an animation. According to this tweet, Neela once wrote that Sega was acquiring Lana, so she would become an official Sonic character.
This person has claimed that they worked for Sega and their OC was going to be an official Sonic character and all that other shit.
Maybe this is hearsay, but it does sound like something she would say. No shit, Sega never did this, and it's probably for the best. Regardless, some artists just strive for originality and get so upset when they see someone else with similar ideas, and this is how egotism can develop. If your OC is considered so popular and so original, that shit gets into your head. Unfortunately, this is not where the story ends.
This is what I was in freshman.
But she would always be very flirty, that's one thing. And I would be flirty back because, like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was younger than I am now at the time. I was about 16, 17 at the time.
How old was she?
Somewhere in her early 20s. I'm pretty sure 21 or 22, but I may be wrong.
Back in February of the last year, Neela was involved in a relationship with Goopy Lemon 78. She was 22, while he was no older than 17. The relationship was short, but it included plenty of lewd content that no minor should be exposed to. Neela made and sent him art of Lana, often naked and in very sensual positions. She also wrote lewd roleplays with Goopy, often forcing him to play how she wanted with no regards to his wishes. Even when the conversation wasn't dirty, Neela still groomed him, having threatened to dox people who she didn't like and were friends with him.
She did do inappropriate stuff even before we started dating. Sending art, not safe for work art, made it to where she kind of like forced me into like wanting it.
So what kind of things did you two do while you were dating? Was it like role playing, art trades, stuff like that?
Role playing. Oh, she would start off friendly and like she kind of like slink her way into turning it bullshit.
And was this for like every session?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but one thing was for a fact. She forced me to like not play my OC how I want to play him.
I don't need to go about a long lecture about why this is horrible. You ought to know that by now. But if anybody hasn't begun to abhor this artist at this point, they are bound to now. Of course, one could argue that international relations come to play here, that Neela is from a totally different nation with its own laws and customs, and that she's not in the wrong. And while that's not entirely illogical, that's not the case here. Even Neela admits that what she had done was legal, no matter where she was. It's unwritten law that any relationship between grown adult and child is wrong. Of course, when Neela is confronted about this, she attempts to blame it on him. I mean, if I understand this correctly, she says he forced her to become his girlfriend. No, you can't force someone on the internet. The block button is just one press away. Months after this took place, they were leaked by none other than Alshani herself. Neela was under fire once again. This should serve as a reminder to be wary of someone who acts way too cute to woo and that women can be PD as well. I feel disgusted. I used to look up to Zero. I feel so sick right now just knowing she did this. Even Goopy himself took to Instagram to expose Neela's actions to the world. You say I used you. Me. I used you. You make me laugh. You used me. guilt-tripped me, forcing me to spend a bunch of money on your commissions, forcing me to lose interest in my previous girlfriends, making me think I was in love with you. I trusted you, gave you my kindness, and what did I get? Multiple attempts in a broken soul. The full story is about 20 pages long. He writes that Neela forced him to touch himself and engage in lewd roleplays under the fear of losing her as a friend. Being in such a relationship has damaged his mental state, and he's still recovering as I speak. And no, Goopy is not Neela's only victim. He's the only one who revealed himself. At least one 17-year-old was also groomed by Neela, but they remain anonymous. One thing's known for sure is that they live in America, and that's as far as we should know. Keep in mind, I didn't take this evidence. I'm only showing it. And with how these screenshots were edited to, of course, block out anons, I have no clue exactly how—
Yeah, the reason some of the evidence are censored just to avoid this channel getting terminated. And the guy who made this video being taken down. But glad he didn't show that.
How many minors Neela was in contact with, but let's just hope that there isn't any more, since this is already a despicable case. While the Sonic fanbase has had predators in the past, none of them were as well known as Neela by the time they were outed. This case goes to show that even those we look up to can hide damning secrets. For God knows how long, we all believed they were good, functioning, productive members of society. Despite everything I've shown, which is already damn well known by now, her art is still widely beloved. So much so that some try to imitate her style, even going as far as tracing or heavily referencing. On 27 July 2022, Jasmine Horbotnik, the same person who made the video I clipped earlier, created a mega thread calling out various artists for tracing, mostly Neela's. Here is one part that shows very clear similarities between the piece done by tiny little bimbo and the original. There goes my monetization. Again, not to say you can't separate art from artists, because of course it's debatable. Art is art, but at the same time, theft is theft. Credit should be given where credit is due. But anyway, after the call out, Neela switched usernames multiple times. She went by Vuneko for a very short while. It clearly took her a bit before she realized her worth in the community and wiped all evidence of her existence off the internet. DeviantArt? Gone. Instagram? Gone. Twitter? Gone. Everything I provided in this video was only made possible through archives. The only remnants of Zero Phoenix live on as screenshots, shadows of what she used to be. According to Alshani, all evidence was already submitted to the police and there's an ongoing investigation, so rest assured. While these victims recover and the police do the work, this video is here to not let time forget Neela's actions. And neither should we forget what brought Neela into this position in the first place. You see, Zero Phoenix isn't the only example, she's just the worst one. Many fanart communities have what I like to call high school syndrome, where popularity defines your status. And if you think this makes no sense, just look around. If you're on a Discord server and you've ever wondered why a popular artist gets more attention than you, that's high school syndrome in action. And the Sonic fanbase is quite guilty of it, especially on Twitter. We have a serious problem that has yet to be addressed concerning the treatment of skilled artists. And when a 20-something-year-old artist is treated as such, they can develop egotism. Furthermore, develop a sense of influence over those inspired by them. And this influence results in a sort of tribalism where these artists can use their following as weapons to attack smaller ones that they don't like, through means of slander or otherwise. This behavior has been on repeat for several years and it has only gotten worse. I've known plenty of friends who are affected by mob mentality as a result of this tribalism. Some over things that happened years prior. some who had to change their entire identities just to avoid harassment and public humiliation, some who felt they no longer had a place in the community they used to love, some who left their communities as a whole, leaving no trace, leaving friends questioning if they're even still alive. Zero Phoenix represents just about everything wrong with the current Sonic fanbase, and I'm tired of pretending everything's fine. We need to do better, as both artists and fans of artists.
Right.
If Zero Phoenix was here right now, would you have anything to say about her?
Oh god, if she was here right now, I'd say so many things to her.
Well,
so many things.
What's the first thing you would say that comes to your mind?
I want to tell her that...
Oh. I guess this video is all over. Alright, now we're going to be reacting to The Internet Hates Chibi Reviews. And this video is made by I'm Still Corin. So, let's get over with.
Guys, the internet is not your friend, and some things do not need to be discussed on it. So recently, a new drama or hot topic, whatever you want to call it, has emerged in the past 24 hours, and it's all centered around the anime YouTuber Chibi Reviews. Now, if you've never heard of Chibi before, he's basically a YouTuber who at one point in time used to do a lot of reviews on anime, but now he just kind of covers whatever hot topic he wants to talk about in anime or whatever rant he wants to go on. Well, 2 days ago, he would upload a video titled I Lost Everything, where in the video he would explain that he found out that not only is his fiance cheating on him, but she was cheating on him with his best friend of 10 years.
I discovered my fiance cheating on me with my best friend of 10 years. I confronted her about this, and she apologized. I, being with her already for multiple years, and then finding out my best friend, so much betrayal. There's moments where he was hurting years ago with COVID, and I gave him money for he could have bills paid and his family wouldn't have to worry. I cared for him. He said he was moving down here in a few months. And I now know why. He wanted to. What I will say, I lost a lot. I lost a lot.
And I think we can all agree, just hearing this situation at face value sounds so grimy. Imagine your best friend, your day one homie. You randomly find out that this person has been plotting on your girl, your fiance, your soon-to-be wife, and they are having an affair behind your back while they are smiling in your face. Not only that, he is planning to move where you're living at, and you're thinking, oh man, I'm gonna get to spend so much more time with my day one homie. That situation's enough to make anyone's chest hurt. But the craziest part wasn't just the fact that his fiance and his best friend were having an affair behind his back. No, the craziest part is that Chibi would go on to reveal that his entire social circle, his entire group of friends that he games with, they knew about this the entire time and they just didn't care.
I did what anyone probably would reasonably do. I wanted to confide in someone. Not really. I go to my gaming friend group that I've known just as long as my best friend, that my fiance. cheated with. I talked with them, and they straight up, they admit to me they don't care, basically, what my used-to-be best friend did. They prefer gaming with him, and I thought these guys were my friends. I did. And they more or less, they just cared about gaming with him, and they didn't care about everything. They're completely okay with everything. And so, more or less, I lost my whole friend group. My best friend that I basically called a brother.
This has got to be one of the most cursed experiences I've ever heard. Like, this literally sounds like something out of some messed up movie. I think we can all agree that if we were in this situation, we would hate it. We would literally hate to be in this situation. And because of that, a lot of people tend to have sympathy for people who are in poor situations. So you would imagine that after Chibi uploaded this video, seeing how many views it got, how hot of a topic this became, that a lot of people would be flooding him with sympathy. Well, not really. Actually, the exact opposite happened, because while Chibi's community would go on to send him sympathy, many people online would actually celebrate that this happened to him, even going on to congratulate his friend group, his best friend, and his fiance. And you might be saying to yourself, Corin, what type of evil world are we living in? Why would people be celebrating that this happened to this person? Well, the thing is, Chibi Reviews isn't really that liked online. In fact, he's actually one of the most hated anime content creators in the entire anime scene. So let's go over some of the biggest reasons why people don't like Chibi Reviews, and why it might make more sense that people would be very, very happy that this happened to him. Number one, Chibi Reviews is a lolly defender. If you don't know what lolly is, it is a Japanese trope that is seen in anime and manga that depicts young female characters. These characters are always made to look like children, even if on special occasions where they're actually not children, they are still depicted to look like children. And almost always, lolly characters are sexualized in some way. I think you understand where this is going. Yeah, many people have criticized this trope heavily because it's quite literally one step before CP, yet Chibi has made it his brand to be the figurehead of lolly defenders, to talk about how much he loves lolly. Chibi loves lolly so much that he even talks about his favorite lollies of the season, which is a crazy statement to say out loud.
And I found my lolly of the season. Naru, so cute, but so is Hina. Oh,
Disgusting. Literally
I don't know
disgusting.
who the hell
and
these
as
guys
horrible
are.
of an argument as it is, I know there's going to be at least one person who says, okay, well, they're not real kids. They're not, they're fictional characters.
Yeah, but what if you sexualize kids in real life and thinking it's not like the real person? What if these guys did that? I'm sure hell the government weren't gonna let it slide. I don't think FBI will let that slide either. I've seen in lolly FBI photos when I was in 8th grade. So, these videos prove the fact.
Is it really that bad? Well, for all legal purposes, this is an alleged tweet from Chibi Reviews where he goes on to say, went to Walmart today and saw some cute lollies, which honestly made my day, LOL. So you tell me, viewer, is it actually that bad? Because I don't think you can go to Walmart and find random cartoon little girls out there, so I can only imagine he's talking about one other thing, and that's the real thing. And even if the character isn't explicitly a lolly or explicitly looks like a child, Chibi always finds a way to coincidentally sexualize an underage character. A little while ago, he was receiving backlash for his comments towards the character Amo from Gachi Yakuda. Chibi would upload this image saying she looks very happy, and this other one of Amo in a compromising position saying like what a character design. For context, in the show Gachi Yakuda, Amo is like a 13-year-old girl who was sold away by her mother and is repeatedly sexually abused by a grown man. The first image that Chibi uploaded is literally the sequence where Amo is being sexually abused by this.
No wonder why his fiance was cheating on him with somebody else. That explains
grown man, and she's trying to process it in her child mind. The second image is quite literally after the act is done and Amo is laying there trying to understand what just happened. And this goes back to what I was talking about when I said a lot of people don't like Chibi because he's a lolly defender. Because on top of him being a lolly defender, Chibi intentionally goes out his way to find depictions of underage characters being sexually abused, or, you know, just in very inappropriate situations, and highlight it on his platform. And because he's never been charged with anything, I won't put any allegations on him, but what I will say is I have never seen a single person online that has been defending lolly, or, you know, is into this weird, you know, lolly stuff, and they don't like the real thing. There's a part in Chibi's I Lost Everything video where he went on to say this:
I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes. I know. I piss people off. I annoy them.
If I didn't give you the context as to what Chibi act...
Yeah, that's me when I was into like a huge drum up back a couple of years ago. But at least I didn't piss people off.
Does, you would think he's just a normal guy who's just like kind of annoying but just makes content. People have been speculating if Chibi is a pedo for years based on how he presents himself online. And it's not just the lolly stuff. Chibi also advocates for stuff like incest. If I were to round up every single degenerate tweet or thing Chibi has said on the internet, this would be a 3-hour-long video. I mean, there was a guy who was reacting to people celebrating that this stuff happened to Chibi, and he went on to say a man nearly took his own life and this is how you respond. Absolute scum. Because I forgot to mention, Chibi went on to say in his I Lost Everything video that after he found out that his fiance cheated on him, that he was thinking about committing, or like he almost committed. But the same guy who tweeted that the people celebrating are absolute scum was then flooded with all the things Chibi has done, and he responds under his same tweet, damn, didn't know Chibi did all that. Same day, by the way. And I'm not telling people they should clown him for it, but it's kind of ironic to tell people that they should care that Chibi almost committed, because Chibi's also the same person who mocked a 17-year-old trans kid who took their own life. He made an entire post mocking the kid, talking about how mentally unwell they were because they were trans. Did I also mention that Chibi advocates for incest? So knowing all this about Chibi, it doesn't really surprise me that many people don't actually feel bad for him. Which is why I said in the beginning of the video that the internet is not your friend and everything doesn't need to be brought to the internet, because
well, that's kind of based, you know, but at least I'm doing well now.
Honestly don't understand why he brought this to the internet, because all I could imagine is that he would have to expect that many people would be making fun of him.
Y'all are going crazy with the comparisons of Chibi Reviews after his fall off with his fiance cheating on him. So if y'all do not know who Chibi Reviews is, he's a very popular YouTuber who just had his fiance cheat on him with his best friend who he's been friends with for 10 years. Now you might be wondering, why is he getting this hate? Why are people preying on his downfall? This is just the tip of the iceberg. He has an obsession with lollies, number one. He's made videos pro-ICE, he's racist, he scammed his followers out of $16K, PDF, he's done attacks against other artists, and bro, some of these memes that people are creating are insane. And
yeah, if I receive this type of shit, I'll be depressed forever. And stay broke.
The fact that he's literally gone public saying that he's a fan of NTR. If y'all don't know what NTR is, you can look it up. But yeah, NTR lover got NTR'd IRL. Insane. You got people saying Chibi Reviews got that Oda level foreshadowing because somebody said, aren't you a cuck, little bro? And he said, having a fiance means I'm a cuck. What? Dude, honestly, some top tier foreshadowing. Chibi got that Oda level foreshadowing. This dude Chibi just needs to get off the internet and just literally never return to social media.
But I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments. What are your opinions on Chibi Reviews?
These guys telling them to leave the internet is giving me a Matthew Smith vibes. At least it's not another black guy this time.
Feel bad for him? Do you not feel bad? Or do you just not care at all? I appreciate you checking out another video, and until then, it's been your boy Corin, and I'm off this.
Alright, so this is another end of this video. Even though I haven't been gaining that much followers, but I only like gained one since I started the stream, but I'll get there around like maybe 10 o'clock or something. So let's get going. We're back to Fox Akimbo.
Roblox animators have gone too far. If you guys have seen my recent Animation Exposed videos, then you'll know that we talk about Roblox animators quite a lot, discussing the downfall of...
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, the Roblox users that sexualized a lot of kids. If EDP445 was in Roblox sexualizing children by saying these NSFW comments about them, that would have been crazy, bro. That would have been crazy.
File creators such as Notive and Ribs. And today, we have one more to add to that list, Mr. Obvious. So in case you don't know Mr. Obvious, he was one of Roblox's oldest users, having created his account all the way back in 2007. For a short time, he was a very esteemed content creator, producing a handful of animations during his time on YouTube, with all of them doing fairly well in the grand scheme of things. More than 600,000 channel views, more than 6,000 subscribers, and in 2014 he even became a Bloxy winner, which I guess is like the Roblox equivalent of a Streamy. But just 3 years on from his Bloxy win, and his reputation would take a sharp turn. In 2017, Ruben Sim would release a video accusing Mr. Obvious of being a predator. I would have recommended you guys to check this video out, but to be honest, I'm not too sure if it's up anymore. On YouTube, I wasn't able to find it, potentially through a copyright issue. The only way that I could access it was through the Wayback Machine. On the subject of this video, it came with an...
Yeah, the Wayback Machine wasn't this good. It was buggy, it was laggy, it contained a lot of errors, guys.
Incredible amount of evidence, which, if the screenshots within this video have not been altered, depicted Mr. Obvious attempting to develop a relationship with a 15-year-old. For context, when these messages would have been sent, Mr. Obvious was 22. During his interactions with her, he would allegedly groom her, send her inappropriate videos, and even went as far as soliciting naked images. Now, if these screenshots weren't enough, to my understanding, some audio clips were also leaked, which I'm going to play in just a moment. That said, I do want to give a warning here, because what you're about to hear is not only extremely creepy, but also extremely cringe. So if you want to skip over this audio message, then make sure to go to the timestamp on screen now. For the rest of you, here's the clip.
So I want you to know that the bottom part here is really sensitive, and the head is the most insensitive. Yeah, my words low.
Sounds like you murdered someone. Holy crap.
Delicious and hot.
Do you know what really stands out to me here? The fact that he had to give this girl an...
Oh, I've seen your Night's Wolf Ren video. Night's Wolf fan. Night's Wolf was definitely lost it. Yeah, I saw it.
An anatomy lesson. Like, way to not make it seem like there's a huge difference in experience and age gap here, dude. Now, Ruben Sim within his video would reveal that he actually reached out to law enforcement because of this, and even decided to reach out to Mr. Obvious himself just to see how he would respond. But he received a series of very hostile replies, and then got blocked. Within Mr. Obvious's response, he even pulls the "how dare you assume my gender" card, which really does date this to 2017. I'm sorry to burst Mr. Obvious's bubble, but clearly this was not going to get him off the hook. The jig was well and truly up, and it only got worse after more and more people came forward to address that Mr. Obvious had apparently tried to contact them too. Message after message, photo after photo, suggestion after suggestion. He allegedly tried to excuse himself by saying that he was on antidepressants, but once more, this is a very weak source excuse for allegedly committing literal crime. What did he expect? Does he think he can just scran an antidepressant and then go chasing kids around the playground and he'd get let off in a court of law? What? Mr. Obvious? That's not how antidepressants work. I mean, the amount of alleged evidence that came from so many different ranging sources against Mr. Obvious was quite astounding. Ruben Sim really did do a good job compiling it within this video, and it led to Mr. Obvious becoming one of the most detested Roblox animators of all time. He seemed to try and swerve the cancellation by renaming his channel to Awesome Robloxians and privating his Twitter.
This user is 3 times bigger than me. I wish I had this type of subscribers like that.
But the damage was well and truly done. There was no coming back from this. But Mr. Obvious is just one exposed animator that we'll be discussing. He's in bad company because today I still have several more to show you. Now, usually in these sorts of videos, I make each one worse than the last, but in this one, we're not going to do that. Every single person we're discussing today has done some pretty heinous stuff. For each person, if they really are guilty of what they've been accused of, it's just awful. With that said, we still have several to get into today, such as an animator that sent gore images of his own OC getting decapitated, and a YouTube animator that worked on some of the internet's most iconic videos that suffered a downfall that has ruined my childhood. So let's turn our attention to the next one.
Oh boy. Bombast... I don't know what the fuck.
Firstly, I want to say that these are allegations, and just that. The allegations that I'm about to bring forward are from a Google Doc published in March 2023. I also used Serial Introvert's video on the subject as a resource, so massive shout out to him. So what's in the document? The document released is 57 pages in length and is jam-packed with screenshots. Because of the length of this, I won't be able to address every single infraction, but as always, I'll give you the most important parts. The other thing that I think it's important to address is that Bombastic Hype, when this was made, was only 15 years old. I just want everyone to keep that in mind because despite the alleged wrongdoings of Bombastic Hype, I don't believe that we should hold people to the worst of themselves at such a young age. For some of what they did, it's not acceptable regardless of their age. For other things, it might have played a factor, as you'll soon see. That said, the document begins with a portion including the trigger warnings, CP, and self-cest. It kicks off by claiming that Bombastic Hype was in a Discord server where people within the server would express their hypersexuality towards each other. Now, someone that was his age at the time should not have been in that server in the first place. But honestly, it's probably more of a knock on the person that approved him than Bombastic himself. The document then went on to allege that Bombastic had drawn CP and published it in the server. Now, Serial Introvert within this video claimed that he didn't believe this to be CP. And to be honest, I agree with him. The images here are apparently meant to be...
What is with these people obsessive over CP? Even though I've done this when I was in high schooler, but I don't do this anymore.
His OC, who was apparently meant to be 15.
Christ.
Was it inappropriate? Yes. Would I class this as CP? Not exactly. As for self-cest, to be honest, I really don't know who's getting offended at that. It should be probably the least of anyone's concern when it comes to Bombastic Hype. A much more pressing issue in my opinion was the leaked recordings. The next part of the document claimed that Bombastic Hype would share audio recordings of their then 14-year-old boyfriend known as Villazern softly kissing his pillow. This audio was very clearly made for sexual purposes. Why else would you share it in a hypersexual Discord server? And this was shared without Villazern's consent, which for obvious reasons is tremendously problematic. Apparently, Bombastic Hype had quite a fondness of this sort of audio, as another allegation against him was that he admitted to self-pleasuring over a similar recording made by a different person known as Mug Animate. Mug Animate is actually a content creator here on YouTube, and we'll get back to him in just a moment, as that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Bombastic Hype's attitude towards Mug Animate. His treatment towards him could potentially be described as quite repulsive. The story goes that Bombastic Hype was going out with Villazern, as previously mentioned, but wanted to date Mug. Mug Animate knew that Bombastic was going out with Villazern, but was told by Bombastic that they were polyamorous. Apparently, later it turned out that Villazern wasn't exactly happy with being in a polyamorous relationship, and so he was dumped, with Bombastic and Mug now dating. However, just as Bombastic had done to Villazern, he made Mug Animate send audio recordings of him kissing his pillow, which was when he admitted to pleasuring himself over it. Bombastic also drew NSFW art of the two of them. Keep in mind that at this point, Mug was also still a teenager too. According to the document, Mug wasn't too comfortable with this, and anytime he wanted to break up, Bombastic would threaten self-harm. In fact, Mug would detail over Discord a long list of things that he alleged Bombastic had done to him that were way over the line, ranging from lying about Mug being homophobic to claiming that Mug said the N-word, And that's even light compared to the allegations of bombastic doxing Mug and quite literally his entire family tree. There were also allegations that he got Mug suspended from his school and even went as far as driving Mug to a suicide attempt. The worst part though was that Mug wasn't the only person that had been wronged by Bombastic. The general consensus is that if the allegations against him are in fact true, then Bombastic had quite a habit of targeting vulnerable people. Much of what Mug Animator may have faced was also allegedly suffered by another contributor to the document known as Baby Blue. Baby Blue claimed that she had been in a vulnerable place as she had recently been groomed, and expressed this on a venting channel within Bombastic Hype's server. However, instead of receiving support, she was allegedly emotionally abused. In fact, at one point, she claimed that a user known as Zoe had told her that Keith, the real name of Bombastic Hype, had self-harmed because of her. Now, Baby Blue claimed to be 11 to 12 years old and autistic. Which begs the question, if this is true, why are you self-harming over an 11-year-old?
I have autism
and if it's fake, why would you give the therapist role within your server to someone who is lying like this to children? The way that Baby Blue describes it within the document, she was essentially being bullied by the two of them, specifically Zoe. If you're going to let an 11-year-old into your server, which by the way shouldn't even be allowed because the minimum age to use Discord is 13, then at the very least you need to do better to safeguard them. Now I understand that a 15-year-old might not be the most emotionally mature person in the world, but turning an autistic child into what they described as the punching bag of the group, it just breaks my heart. Finally, a third person came forward known as Wugalex, who, if I'm not mistaken, was the person to leak this information, releasing this document on Twitter. Now, this wasn't the first time that Wugalex had taken to Twitter to discuss Bombastic Hype. He had done it previously, telling Bombastic supporters not to interact with him due to harassment. After this, Bombastic DM'd Wugalex, claiming that this tweet had gotten him a bunch of hate, sharing an image with Wugalex that he had allegedly been sent. Wugalex then asked him to share the identity of the user that had sent him this, but Bombastic refused. Upon a second image being sent, Wugalex looked into it and came to the conclusion that Bombastic had drawn these gore images himself as a way of making it seem like he was being harassed and targeted. I'm sorry? Who do you think you are? This man thinks he's literal Littlefinger, drawing his own OC getting decapitated, as if that's gonna do anything for him. What? I swear, of all the weird things I've seen in the Anime Hen series, this is definitely in the top 20. Which is really saying something. That said, alongside drawn images were also real photographs of self-harm. For obvious reasons, I won't be sharing these. There was a bit of a back and forth between Wugalex and Bombastic Hype, and eventually, Bombastic Hype was kind of forced to go back on his original story. And given that Mug Animate also claimed that Bombastic Hype often lied for no reason, it does help the validity of both stories. There's definitely a link between them. In fact, some believe that he might have lied within his lie, because he claimed that a Discord user known as Gemsy Not Found had told him to send these images, and that Bombastic had not drawn them, despite previously saying that he had received the images on Twitter. And upon being coerced into adding Gemsy into a Discord group with Wugalex and another user known as T5, more suspicion was drawn because allegedly neither Gemsy nor Bombastic were ever messaging at the same time, which led Wugalex to believe that this was just Bombastic switching accounts. And it also begs the question, why? Why do you need to send him this? Let's pretend for a moment, okay, that Gemsy does actually exist and it's not just Bombastic Hype changing accounts, okay? Gemsy sends him these images of the decapitation, okay, and says, hey, pass this on to Wugalex to scare him. You don't need to do it! Why are you doing this man's bidding? You're under no contractual obligation to say yes. Any rational person would say no. Bombastic Hype's story is utter poppycock. So overall, Bombastic Hype was exposed for quite a lot of stuff. These days, Bombastic Hype has rebranded, perhaps as a way of escaping his negative reputation. The channel is now called ColdPrime7774, please do not harass it, but as you can see here, one of their old videos has a Bombastic Hype tag on it, so this is Bombastic's channel. His channel's growth has stagnated ever since the controversy, with him losing 4,000 subscribers in the weeks and months following. Some of this behaviour is pretty inexcusable regardless of their age. But that said, I do hope that Bombastic Hype is a better person today, maybe getting publicly exposed was a good thing for them because it allowed them to reassess and reevaluate how they treat other people. Maybe it's just the optimist in me, but I do hope the bombastic hype has changed in his behavior if he is guilty of doing these things. But for an arguably even more extreme downfall, we're going to have to move on. But now that we're 2 stories in, I'd just like to take a very brief moment to ask you that if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. As I always say, I'll carry on this series as long as I keep on receiving support, and the easiest way for you to show me your support is by liking, subscribing, and getting active down in the comments, letting me know what you think of this video and who you want to see me cover next. If there's an animator that you'd like to see me cover in a future video, then definitely let me know. Just make sure that you don't recommend the next person that we're going to discuss. For this next story, I'm going to take a moment just to slow the pace of things down because what we're about to talk about isn't very nice. It's not the sort of thing that I like to discuss, but it is relevant for a video like this. Allow me to tell you the story of Rage 19.
Rage 19. Never heard of this user.
So Rage 19, real name Jamie Spicer Lewis, or JSL as we're going to refer to him as, was an old school animator on YouTube. And even if you've never heard of him, you very well might have seen his work, as he himself has more than 70 million views on his channel with almost 250,000 subscribers.
Damn.
He's previously worked alongside Jack's Films on his Harry Scar video, which has 1.4 million views, as well as the ultra-viral videos Asdf Movie 3 and Asdf Movie 5. Looking at the credits of those videos, you can see that only one animator is credited, and that animator is him. For anyone that's unaware, Asdf is Tom Scar's magnum opus, I guess. At the very least, it's his most recognizable series. This series of animated videos have generated more than 600 million views, and that's not even taking into account the songs, the deleted scenes, and anything else. In fact, just Asdf Movie 3 and 5 alone, the ones that he worked on, have generated more than 100 million views, and the series has most definitely etched itself into the YouTube Hall of Fame. This is arguably the most famous series of animated videos that the internet has ever seen. Asdf aside, Jamie has also worked on Ed's World, the incredibly famous in its own right webcomic created by the now deceased Ed Gould. And his input on some of the internet's highest profile productions makes it all the more devastating that in April 2021, the Twitter user known as Rachel Kiki, who voiced Tamara on Ed's World, came out to allege that Jamie Spicer Lewis, or JSL as she refers to him as, had begun a sexual relationship with her when he was 28 and she was 16. Pause now if you want to read the entire statement. But I will go through various important claims. For example, how she stated that she met him at 15, that typing his full name gives her anxiety, that he was an alcoholic and sent self-harm images to her, that even when they were being intimate, he was talking about other women, and that their relationship ended a year later. She also mentioned that she had been severely negatively impacted by her relationship with him, having daily panic attacks and being diagnosed with PTSD in the aftermath. But even that's not where it ends. Within this post, she claimed that there was a power dynamic, as obviously being 12 years her senior and having worked on some of the internet's biggest animations, she looked up to him, but she claimed that he used her for cheap thrills. Apparently, there was no love or romance in her relationship. She was a dark, dirty secret to be hidden away from the rest of the world. She also claimed that once the pair had broken up, he kept incessantly trying to get back into contact with her, and she threatened him with legal action if he ever tried it again. Now, this elicited a shocked response from people within his circle. Several creators such as Tom Scar, Dodie, and Rob Dembleaker replied with support, which to me implies that someone like Tom, who was associated with Jamie, didn't know what he was getting up to, especially considering the reply he received from Kiki. This story was also reported on Dexerto, and it was posted on the Ed's World subreddit, showcasing that there was a fair amount of outcry surrounding it. But strangely enough, during my research, I wasn't able to find a single prominent video discussing the situation. This might be the first one. Ever since these allegations came to light, the Rage 19 channel has been a ghost town, with its final video dropping in August 2020. In the comments, I've identified 2 types of people. The first are the poor, innocent folks that just want to know where JSL is and why he hasn't uploaded for the past 5 years. The other, those who know what's alleged to have happened, are sharing the information, often cursing his name in the process. Now, many speculate that these days JSL is in prison, which, given the severity of what Kiki had to say, is a possibility. That said, having done some research into him, I'm very much inclined to believe that that is not the case. And I do just want to remind everyone watching this, please do not harass anyone that I've mentioned in this video. Despite what the
Yeah, I'm not gonna harass any of these guys, okay? Just like one of my enemies has been doing that. I think 2-3 people have been harassing me ever since, like, after, like, July 2024 and August 2024. Yeah. Yeah, it's called harassment, but they don't give a shit.
Allegations might be, they are just that. Allegations. We should hear them out and take them seriously, but if he hasn't been charged, it would be incredibly inappropriate for us to assume what he has or hasn't done, especially if it hasn't been proven in a court of law. But if you guys want some content that's proven, if you enjoyed this, then make sure to check out the rest of the Anime Mayhem series. They'll all be linked down in the comments and description.
Alright, so now this video is quite done. Can't believe we react to like 5 videos already. I think we're getting all caught up. Now, back to Ben Bros. Let's go.
Guys, have you seen social media lately? It feels like some strange epidemic is spreading.
Heck yeah! I saw that too. It's so scary, bruh.
Yo, are you talking about baby boo syndrome?
OMG, that syndrome looks so chaotic, blood.
Class, what are you guys talking about?
Teacher, have you seen social media? The epidemic called baby boo syndrome is spreading everywhere.
Come on, Jaden, really? This is just a hoax. It's just some weird trend made up on TikTok to get more views.
Wait a second, but there's so many videos related to baby boo syndrome.
And that's why you shouldn't trust TikTok attention seekers.
Baby boo syndrome is a hoax? Really?
Well, if it's a hoax, that's a relief, bro.
Well, honestly, I did think it was kind of weird that an illness like this suddenly started in February.
But guys, I still feel like it might be real.
Bro, let's just forget about it until we see it with our own eyes, okay?
But guys, listen to me for a second. Guys, let's go together.
What the fuck?
Yeah, maybe Ronald is right. There's no reason to believe everything I see on social media. Until I see it with my own eyes, it's better not to believe anything. Yeah, forget it. I'll just go home and play Genshin Impact. Huh? Isn't that Jessica from the class next door? What is she doing there? Hey, Jessica! What are you doing there? Holy shoot! She looks completely out of her mind. Wait.
Looks like a seizure to me.
I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Wait, what? Even the bully from the next class too? And more? My gosh! Ah! It's baby boo syndrome!
What type of shenanigans?
Huh?
Fucking go. It's like, what the hell is this?
And surprise Jaden. It was a prank.
What? Teacher?
Hello, Jaden.
Huh?
Oh!
I believe the baby boo syndrome was real a little too much, so we decided to prank you.
Oh my god! Teacher! It freaked me out!
And your reaction was funny. Baby boo syndrome is a hoax, Jaden.
Oh my god! Oh, that's not a chicken!
Teacher, are you okay?
I am okay.
Okay, teacher.
What's gonna happen? Are they having seizures for real?
Oh my god! It's baby boo syndrome!
Oh, I called it!
Guys,
I called
calm
it!
Down.
Called it!
The teacher is just pranking us!
I just fucking called it, chat. Just write it down. we go. Now, back to Fox Akimbo once again. So, this is gonna be the last video we're gonna be reacting to tonight. It's halfway to 10
In the last video, I spoke about the many sins of animation creators, ranging from money-hungry content farms to a creator that animated a suggestive clip of a certain underage Squid Game character. But if that video contains sins,
I remember
this
that.
video contains war crimes. Literal violations of the Geneva Convention, from desecrating the dead, to making gay gacha animations of the Holy Prophets, to faking cancer. And that's just one creator that we have today. And she's not even the worst. So welcome to this brand new limited series on the channel that I'm calling Animayhem, where I discuss the catastrophic controversies of the internet's animation community. This is the third installment of Animayhem. If you haven't seen parts 1 or 2, I'll link them down below in the video description for you to check out afterwards. With that said, let's dive into the first story. This is going to be the least extreme out of all of them. As the video progresses, each case is going to get worse and worse. Even still, this is highly illegal. If you don't know about it, allow me to introduce you to Blueygate.
Blueygate? Never heard of that. My nieces
So we're starting off today not with one channel in particular, but instead with a weird animation rabbit hole that I somehow found myself down. That being weird Bluey knockoffs. In case you don't know it, Bluey is a very famous children's TV show, probably the most well-known these days, and it follows a family of 4 dogs in their daily lives. Parents have noted that the show is entertaining for them and is also informative and educational for the kids that watch it, leading to its immense success. However, as with basically everything that becomes a smash hit, there'll be some people out there with questionable morals that decide to leech off its fame in order to make money. And that's where channels such as Animation 4.0 and Lotus Animation Story come in. Because in early 2023, articles were written detailing that there had recently been an epidemic of fake knockoff Bluey channels that were making inappropriate videos. Both children and parents alike would think that these were Bluey episodes, they would click on them, and later would find out that they were not. These were at best extremely low quality slop videos, and at worst they contained themes and imagery that were inappropriate for child audiences. For any haters of woke that are in the house, you might be angry to find out that some of these videos contained a bit of a strange theme of the male Bluey characters getting pregnant.
Come on.
Of course, because these were of such low quality, they never outright said it because there was never any dialogue, but I don't think that Dad's saying that there's a ham and cheese sandwich in there. These bootleg videos provide no entertainment value, and maybe it's just me, but some of these thumbnails are very questionable. Some of them were straight up Elstigate levels of inappropriate, with syringes, dead characters, and pregnancies, which I can't lie, smell a little bit fetishy to me. But even if you strip away all of the inappropriate content,
I swear to God, if my nieces saw this type of shit, they'll be scarred for a long time. They would have been traumatized. I won't let that happen. Nope.
Content that these videos contained, what you're left with is a very obvious case of copyright infringement. Now, it's not the first thing that people are thinking of, and it's not the flashiest, sexiest thing to talk about here, but at the end of the day, this is very clearly them stealing the intellectual property of Bluey. Like, surely this is illegal. If the people behind these channels were going to be facing some sort of legal consequence, probably the easiest thing to get them on would be copyright infringement. From a legal perspective, this is very clearly stealing someone's intellectual property, and from a moral sense, the people behind these channels are very fine selling slop to children as long as it's making them money. These channels do not care about children and their educational development. They are very clearly just there to make money. So long story short, the entire thing was dubbed Blueygate and caused a very big ruckus in the community. Fortunately, it does appear as though most of these channels have since been terminated. That said, I was able to find one channel called Cool Cartoon that seems to maybe be using AI to add gore and violence into Bluey. I do not believe that this is in YouTube's guidelines, so I think I'm going to flag YouTube's attention on this. Honestly, it's quite sick to me that there are people out there that want to shock and scare toddlers and monetize it. Like, how would you even sleep at night if you were one of the people behind these channels? What lies would you have to tell yourself to rationalize it? Whatever it is, corrupting the youth is the least extreme thing that we have today. So now on to the second creator that we're going to discuss, and this one was banned a very long time ago. Her name was Shay Gacha.
Shay Gacha? Another gacha animator.
Now, Shay Gacha is a name that if you're a very devoted fan of the Fox Akimbo channel, you might somehow remember, because she's a content creator that I spoke about years ago within my video about terminated YouTube channels. You have to go back a very long time for this, all the way back to the summer of 2022. But if you didn't see that video, or understandably you did see it but you want a reminder, her story dates back to early 2021 when she made a video where she claimed that cancer didn't exist and that cancer patients are faking.
Of course they
which
do.
Made some people quite mad. Shay also claimed that Tourette's didn't exist and that the people that claimed they had it were also faking. I guess she had seen that episode of South Park where Cartman pretends to have it. But Shay, South Park is not based on real events. Joking about cancer or Tourette's online is only going to upset people because this is the internet. Of course it will. That said, I do think that this was bait. I do not believe there is a single person out there who believes that cancer is fake and is being genuinely serious about it. However, these claims were just the tip of the iceberg. And if she was trying to rage bait, what she said next was absolutely out of order. In late January 2021, Jacksepticeye announced that his father had passed away, in what can only be described as utterly disgusting and vile behavior. A select number of individuals on the internet took the time out of their day to openly mock his passing, saying that he was burning in hell. They wouldn't have had any real reason to be saying these horrible things.
Yo, come on!
But during one of the lowest moments of Jack's life, he was met with sneers and outrageous claims. There was even one guy that pulled a J station and made videos saying that he was contacting Jack's dad from the dead. Like, what possessed you to be so cruel? Who raised you? And where did it go wrong? Because clearly they did a bad job, and unfortunately, Shay Gacha was one such person that made fun of Jack's father's passing. Shay said that Jack's father was unloved, stupid, and irrelevant.
Damn it.
The video is long gone from the internet by this point. I can't seem to find it anywhere, but there is a screenshot taken of this, and it shows that the video did exist. Jacksepticeye would actually acknowledge the harassment that his—
Yeah, if you post something, chat, if you once post something, it's up here forever. And you can't always take it down. You have to face some consequences, bro.
Late father received, saying this.
To any of you who posted memes about it and posted negative stuff about it, you are absolute scum, and I fucking hate you because you made something that was hard so much harder to go through.
But if you thought that was the end, you would be wrong, because Shay Gacha's very short-lived reign of terror would last a little while longer, and arguably it got even worse. For whatever twisted reason, Shay then came out to defend MAPS. And if you've never come across this acronym before, MAPS stands for Minor Attracted Persons. It is a very polite way of saying pedo.
I'm getting the word nonce.
Once more, this was trolling, but at this point, it's tough to tell. Mocking the very recently deceased isn't even trolling, it's just cruel. So if they're mentally warped enough to be mocking the recently deceased, who's to say if they're mentally warped enough to defend MAPS? In the end, Shay's reign of terror would be quite short-lived. The channel would only survive for 4 months, being founded in January 2021 and being terminated in May of that year. But Shay is still remembered as one of the most infamous gacha content creators of all time. That said, I'm sure I can speak for everyone that she won't be missed on the platform. And before you say it, I checked the r/animation subreddit, and apparently gacha content creators do count as animation. But before we move on to our next story, I'd just quickly like to say that if you're enjoying this right now, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we are very, very fastly approaching 200,000 subscribers. The last 2 videos did amazingly well. And if you want more Animehem, the only way to tell me is to like it and subscribe if you haven't already. Also interact with me and let me know down in the comments what you think of this video, what you think of the creators I'm talking about, and if there are any others that you'd like to see in future content. You guys are absolute legends, so get active, get engaged, and if you guys want more anime hem, then we'll do more anime hem, because I am absolutely loving the response that these videos are getting. So yeah, like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments, if we're gonna do a part 4, who should we cover next? And if I pick the creator that you suggested, then you're going to get a shout out, just like Joanna Aguelol, Bloodstar SV5, Mr. Mildly Concerned, Gold Talon 23, and Jacob124, who all recommended the next animator that we'll be discussing today, the infamous Bella the Wolf.
Oh, I remember her. Yeah, I covered her.
So in case you don't know Bella the Wolf, she's a YouTuber and TikToker with a little more than 100...
But it's a good thing she's a dead horse, but I can't, like, you know, recover her, because I can't beat dead horses, okay? I don't condone that. Last time I covered Amber, I was in 3 years late, and people were like, dude, you're extremely late. He's a dead topic. There's no reason to, you know, cover him when you're 3 years late. He's a dead horse. You're beating the fucking dead horse. But one of you fans requested me to cover him, right? So that's about it.
150,000 followers on both platforms combined. This is her YouTube channel, and let me let you in on a little secret, ladies and gentlemen. I was licking my lips when I saw this. I knew from the moment I laid eyes on her channel that it was a content goldmine. Like a wine connoisseur, I could detect notes of cringe, stupidity, and mental abnormality here. But just why is Mrs. The Wolf so infamous? Well, there are a few reasons, so let's go through them from least serious to most. Let's begin with religion. In one of her earliest videos, she animated famous religious figures Jesus and Allah kissing, and she said in the comments that Jesus and Allah are dating. To be honest, if you were to ask me, I'd say this is based. But based on the 55,000 dislikes that this video has received, I think it's fair to say that most people disagree. The comments of this video are filled up with a bunch of angry Muslims and Christians saying that the idea of Jesus and Allah kissing is disrespectful to their religion. Personally, I don't really have an opinion on this. I'm not going to be out there with the pitchforks and torches or anything. But that said, I do see why some people might be upset with it. Like, a lot of people don't like the idea of religious figures dating, or religious figures dating each other, or religious figures dating each other, but it's gay. That said, it gets worse.
Right.
In another video, she animated a clip of her killing Jesus.
Yeah, I remember this too.
Kind of interesting that she left other religious leaders...
Bella got a lot of backlash for making killing videos out of Jesus, right? Show rotten hell, alright?
Out of that one, I'm just saying. Worse yet, just shy of a year ago, she uploaded a video titled, I was diagnosed with cancer. And in that video, she stated that she had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. This is slightly ironic because she had previously stated that she didn't think that cancer was real.
But
kind of echoing everything that Shay Gacha was saying, but upon a reverse image search, it turned out that the photo that she used was not actually her whatsoever. She was faking. Speaking of cancer, after the extremely famous Minecraft creator Technoblade died of cancer, she made a short that many people found to be extremely disrespectful, and pinned a comment to the short claiming that he had groomed a minor. The thing you have to understand about someone like Bella is that they will do absolutely outrageous things like mocking religion, or making fun of the recently deceased, or even going as far as to call them groomers, just because it gives them insane engagement. There have even been times where she's been called out for her behaviour by content creators such as Ty Records LOL and Rife, and she responds by including them in her animations. When she includes these people, usually something really bad's happening to them, and it causes their audience to go over and hate her, but this is exactly what she wants because she's gaining views, she's gaining engagement, and she's gaining new eyes. Given all of the content that's been made talking about her over the past couple of years, even a video like this is exactly what she wants. She wants to be at the center of discussion. She doesn't need to be liked, she just needs to be seen. And by me discussing this, I'm willingly walking into her web. But while most of this is just engagement farming, I think that sometimes she does absolutely horrendous things just for the love of the game. I kid you not, one time she apparently leaked the phone number of a 10-year-old boy in her Discord, which had more than 10,000 members.
Yesterday, some girl or some person who goes on the internet by Bella the Wolf put my son, and here he is, that's Miles, put Miles' number on a Discord server, said that it was hers, and told people to call. Since then, Miles has gotten
I forgot
over
Bella leaked her
text messages,
address.
over
She
200
leaked her
phone
own
calls
address just for
and
everybody to see.
voicemails that we've had to deal with. So at this point, I am going to have to change Miles' number.
Just like Shay Shay before, I think she's gone way over the line with some of these. Doxing a 10-year-old to thousands of people is insanity, and according to Bella, this link would get her arrested.
Hello everyone, Bella the Wolf is here. I know I haven't posted any videos for over 3 weeks, and there's a valid reason for that. For the last 3 weeks, I was in jail, and it's very horrible in here. The officers don't care at all that I'm a cancer patient. I'm in jail because of that kid's number I leaked, and someone spread false information that I'm an animal abuser.
More like true information and truly an animal abuser, Bella. Your allegations is forever, you know.
To be honest, I struggle to believe her. When it comes to people like Bella, you have to take every word that comes out of their mouth with a pinch of salt. Someone that fakes cancer, spreads malicious rumors about the recently deceased, and doxes 10-year-old boys cannot be trusted. And anything that could be thought of in that twisted mind of hers is possible. As of the time I'm recording this, she's recently been quite quiet with uploads. Hopefully it stays like that, even though I very much doubt it. Regardless, she has one of the worst
Yeah, I have no idea if she returns or not. If she returns, and yeah, I still got a chance to cover her. That's definitely my main topic.
Reputations on the internet. But despite all of that, the next creator that we'll be discussing probably has an even worse one. He's done well to outdo Bella because it's almost impossible, to be honest. This is the story of Notiv's cancellation.
Never heard of this person, so this is my very first time.
Notiv was a Roblox animator that gained a moderate but loyal audience over the years. His channel, around the time of the controversy, was very comparable in size to my own, with him having 177,000 subscribers in late September 2023. And this would have been after he had already lost some, because on the 2nd of September, a burner Twitter account made a post that would essentially end Notiv's career. It linked a Google Doc and wrote, "Coming out about at Notiv's username. He is a groomer and has manipulated many others in private. Below is a document detailing his actions." Lads and lasses, I swear to God, this was one of the most comprehensive Google Docs I have ever seen. The damn thing has a table of contents, and throughout 55 pages is armed to the teeth with screenshots detailing a long history of malpractice ranging from manipulation to grooming. First things first, let me state that these are allegations. I cannot prove for a definitive fact that Notiv did every single thing that he's accused of. I can only go based on the document. Also, let me say that I am by no means the first person to talk about this document. It has been well documented, for lack of better words, in the Roblox animation community. Secondly, if this is true, then it's really not a good look for Notiv. He is a Roblox animator. Think in your minds the sorts of people that might watch Roblox animations. 100% a large chunk of his audience were comprised of children and teenagers. Thirdly, I will not be able to discuss every single claim and allegation sheerly due to the size of this document. As I said, it is 55 pages long. It would take me till 2026, 7, 8, or 9 to detail every single thing that this document says. However, of course, I will give you the footnotes and the important details. So the first allegation that the document brings up was that this wasn't Notiv's first strike. He apparently had allegations levied against him a year prior for having a secret Roblox Rule 34 porn account. This man might think with his head, but certainly not his brain, so to speak. According to the doc, he would make an apology, which, if you want to read it, please pause now, but later he took it down. The document also confirmed that he has a corn addiction. And yes, I spent the last week of my life researching a Roblox animator's corn addiction. Oh, the things I do for you guys. We'll be diving deep into that very soon, don't you worry. To me, this isn't the be-all and end-all though. If you have a secret Rule 34 Roblox corn account leak, you know, it's not great, but you could at least come back from that. As long as you weren't intentionally posting it in a place where you think that minors would be present, then you should be fine. Regardless, he admitted to it. The document then goes more into his addiction, and I'm not going to linger on it for too long because in isolation, someone with an addiction is a victim too. It's just what they do and how they deal with things that might make that change. And for Notiv, there is an allegation that he uploaded a cropped image of a raccoon onto a Roblox shirt. And in the full image, I kid you not, the raccoon is apparently having a cheese grater shoved up its ass. Okay, that is where I draw the line, okay? I could forgive you for having a secret Rule 34 Roblox corn account. I could forgive you for that. But having a perverted little t-shirt where you have a drawn raccoon have a cheese grater,
yeah, nobody's gonna buy that shit,
cheese grater shoved where the sun don't shine, hell no! You are not getting forgiven for that. You're not getting off easy, Notiv. You're not getting off easy. Like, yes, this man very clearly has a corn addiction and he is far down the rabbit hole because what the hell are you doing with a cheese grater up the arse fucking t-shirt? What is even going on, man? And I guess that's as good of a transition as any to move on to this next segment of the story. We're going to be discussing some fairly NSFW stuff right now, so if you don't feel comfortable hearing about it, then you can skip to the timestamp on screen now. Content warning for grooming. To get more serious, the allegations then turned into real-life misdeeds, such as sending porn to a minor. This minor is known on the document as Blue. The minor had apparently only just turned 16 a few weeks ago. And Notiv, who went as Brody on Discord, was 18, soon to be 19 in a few weeks. Screenshots showed that they were aware of the age difference, but didn't care. It stated on the document that Notiv had joined a video call with Blue and had self-pleasured.
No wonder why I gotta be like the last user that you guys grew up watching my videos will retire. I mean, SML's gotta be gone in like 8 years and SMG4 left YouTube. Yeah. I think I gotta be the only one left if it's time.
On camera, asking Blue to show himself on camera, but Blue refused. The document shows Blue discussing their relationship, and Blue claimed that Notiv would make NSFW Roblox animations of him and bought Blue some stockings to wear, likely as part of a fetish. Then comes the DMs between Notiv and Blue, and I very much considered leaving these out because I don't know if I can take it. For the sake of transparency, though, I thought I'd include one. For context, this interaction takes place after Blue had just sent an image of himself with the stockings on, and here it is. Drools, weird emoji, another image sent. Oh my god, I don't deserve this much. Notiv is then said to have screenshotted these images. Apparently the dotted circles indicate a screenshot, and then he admitted on Discord that he got off to it. Now don't get me wrong, I completely understand drooling at the sight of a femboy in stockings, but Notiv, we keep those sorts of things to ourselves. Otherwise, the next thing you know, some smarmy British pseudo-intellectual will find a screenshot of you admitting to it and include it in their video, telling the entire world your freaky little secret. Okay, that's the worst of it. The two's relationship deteriorated shortly afterwards, and Notiv apparently tried to erase any history of it, deleting previously sent messages. Blue eventually distances himself from Notiv, and according to the document, Notiv then turns his attention to two other people known as Red and Pink. The document goes on to allege that despite Notiv being very careful in making sure that his nudes weren't saved, he apparently saved Pink's to later use as leverage after pressuring her into sending them in the first place. The final few pages of the document show more instances of Notiv being manipulative towards several people, downplaying abuse and sexual trauma, trying to get people to cut off their friends, and overall, I guess trying to be this mastermind puppeteer. I mean, here's the thing. These are, at the end of the day, allegations, but the sheer amount of evidence here is insane. So you might be asking yourself, where is Notif today? Well, according to a very reliable source, there has been an update in this case over the past couple of weeks. Since this is Wikitubia though, please do take it with a grain of salt, but it claims that Notif's channel was deleted on the 11th of September this year, so literally like 2 weeks ago now. But given that it's been such a long time since these allegations went public, I have to imagine that this termination was self-inflicted rather than being done by YouTube. But if you want to take a look at terminations that were caused by the platforms they were on, then why not check out my Book of the Band compilation?
Alright, so this is the best 2 hours of my life, isn't it, guys? Alright, so thank you guys for watching, guys. Comment, like, share, sub, and hit that bell for more content if you are new here and join my membership.